Good day children, Sairam and welcome back to the third lesson of geography, humidity and clouds. Now these terms, humidity and clouds, what are they related to? Yes, they are the elements of weather. Okay. Now here are three pictures in which some people are talking to each other. Let's see what are they talking. In the first picture, it is told that it is very sunny today. The wind has stopped blowing. I foresee sandstorm. Let's go quickly inside the house. Yes, even I feel the same. Come, let's go fast. In the second picture, you can see two men are talking. Buddy, it's very hot today. Yes, Soham, I am literally soaked because of the sweat. The third picture, we can see a mother and two children. Children, come fast, wear your sweaters and then play again. Mummy, please wait, let us play, please. So these are the three pictures in which some people are talking. In the first picture, what are they talking about? They are talking that the weather is very hot and dry. Okay, and if you see in the second picture, they are talking about that the weather is very hot and humid. In the third picture, if you see, they are talking about that the weather is very cold and dry. Okay, you can see in this picture over here, a man is going along with his camel in a desert. This shows that the weather over here is very much hot and dry. Okay, so the man is wearing loose clothes. Then in the second picture, you can see over here that it is ice everywhere and one man is wearing warm clothes. In the third picture, do you know this picture? Yes, it is a picture of Mumbai city, which is near the coastal area. Okay, so taking into consideration all these pictures, let's have a geographical study about it. Every day, every now and then, we complain about the weather. We say it is very hot today. We say it is very cold today. Okay, sometimes we say it is sticky today. Okay, so always, every now and then, we complain about the weather throughout the year. Okay, so the above pictures here also are telling you about the weather condition in different states of India. The first picture was about the state of Rajasthan, where the air is very hot and dry. Okay, and the moisture content in the air is hardly any moisture is there in the air. Okay, so the people over here, they feel very hot. So what they wear? They wear loose cotton clothes. Now if you see the third picture, when you have seen the picture, it was about the cold area, that is the Kashmir Valley, where the wind is very much cold and dry and the moisture content is very much less, minimal. And so these people over here, they wear warm clothes so that they can keep themselves warm. Now the second picture, Mumbai's air is hot and humid. Okay, why Mumbai's air is hot and humid? Because it is because of the nearness to the sea, proximity to the sea. You have learned, correct? What is proximity? Okay, the moisture content in the air is very high, and if at all dark clouds cover the sky, then the moisture content goes on increasing. Now, till now we have used the words hot, moist, cool. Okay, what are these words related to? All these words are related to the content of moisture in the air. For precipitation to occur in any place, what is precipitation over here? What is the meaning of precipitation? Precipitation means snowfall, then hailstorm, then rainfall. All this is called as precipitation. Okay, for precipitation to occur in any of the place, moisture is very important. If moisture is only not there, from where precipitation is going to take place. Now, you can see this picture over here. This picture is showing you about the water cycle. You all must have seen this picture earlier. Okay, in this water cycle you can see the evaporation, the condensation, then the precipitation also. Okay, so let's learn in detail with the help of this diagram the different forms of forming humidity and clouds. First one is evaporation. Here we are going to talk about is evaporation first. What is evaporation? Earlier also you will have learned about evaporation, correct? Evaporation means the process of converting water into steam or water vapor. Okay, how water is converted into steam or water vapor? Just because of heating or because of the sunset. Okay, so this is called as evaporation. So what is evaporation? The process of converting water into steam or water vapor due to heating or sunset is called evaporation. Now, evaporation depends upon the dryness, temperature and the speed of the wind. Okay, how much the wind is having the speed, that much of evaporation will take place. How much temperature is there, that much of evaporation will take more. Okay, if air is dry and hot, if at all the air is very much dry and hot, then how will be the rate of evaporation? The rate of evaporation goes on increasing. More evaporation will take place. Suppose evaporation also continues in dry and cold air. It is not necessary that evaporation will only take place in dry and hot air. It can also take place in dry and cold air. But here the evaporation will be little bit slow because the air is already cold over here. Evaporation occurs very slow in moist air. Suppose the air is already moist, it is already carrying water vapor in it, then the evaporation will be very much slow. For example, you all must be knowing in the monsoon season, if you dry your clothes outside your house, what happens? The clothes do not dry faster because already the air is having moisture in it. So, more moisture is not evaporated over here. If velocity and temperature is high, what is velocity? Speed of the wind. If velocity and temperature is high, then evaporation takes place rapidly. Okay, if velocity is high, temperature is high, then evaporation also takes very fast or rapidly. And vice versa. What's the meaning of vice versa? If velocity and temperature is low, in such a condition what will happen? Evaporation also will take very slowly. Nextly, we'll talk about the humidity in the air. The proportion of water vapor in the air is called as humidity. Okay, many a times you all must have heard this term, humidity. What is humidity? The proportion of water vapor in the air is called its humidity. Air can hold moisture in specific quantity at specific temperature. Okay, air is also having its own capacity to hold moisture. Okay, at a specific temperature only that quantity can increase or decrease. As if you see, the temperature cools, moisture holding capacity reduces. I told you about this. When the temperature is less, the moisture holding capacity also will be less. This shows that warm air holds more moisture than cool air. Okay, this example only is showing that warm air can hold more moisture than cool air. At certain temperature, the moisture holding capacity of air becomes equal to the proportion of moisture present in it. This is called saturation of air. What is the meaning of saturation of air? When the temperature, at certain temperature, if a temperature is certain, the moisture holding capacity of air, okay, how much moisture the air can hold, becomes equal to the moisture that is present already in the air. When it is equal, it is called as saturation of air. Okay, till here everyone has understood. Now, let's work out one experiment. Take a colander or tray which is deeper in the center. Now, take a piece of sponge. Keep the sponge on the center of the tray or colander. Make sure there is no water in the sponge. Now, start pouring water on the sponge with a big spoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now stop. Now you can see that the water has come down the colander. This shows that the sponge moisture holding capacity is over. Yes, you all have seen the experiment. Now answer some of my questions. What happened to the water which was poured initially? Okay, when the water was being poured, initially what happened? The sponge was absorbing the water. Correct? When you were pouring water on the sponge, what did you expect? When I was pouring the water on the sponge, I expected that the water will trickle out of the sponge. What happened when you poured more water on the sponge? What happened when you poured more water on the sponge? The water started trickling out of the sponge, right? Okay. What conclusion can you draw from this? What conclusion can you come up to? Yes. We can draw a conclusion that the moisture holding capacity of the sponge has been reduced. Okay. Now, let's have a geographical explanation about the experiment what we have done just now. From the experiment, we learn that the air is like a sponge. Okay, we had used the sponge. The sponge here is, we are taking it as air. Okay, which is saturated because of more water. Okay, the moisture holding capacity of the sponge was less while we were just going on pouring the water. Same way it happens to the air. So air also becomes saturated. When the proportion of moisture in the air exceeds its vapor holding capacity, it precipitates in the form of rain or snow. Okay, at times what happens? When the proportion of moisture in the air exceeds, okay, it becomes more than its vapor holding capacity. As you know, in the case of sponge, because the water holding capacity of the sponge was over, so water started trickling out. Same way here also about the air. Okay, the moisture holding capacity of the air is over, so what happens? It starts precipitating. Okay, in the form of rain or snow. Higher the temperature, higher is the moisture holding capacity. If the temperature is high, then the moisture holding capacity of the air is also very much high. Now if you know, you all must have always heard, as we go higher and higher, the air becomes cooler and its vapor holding capacity decreases. When we go higher and higher above sea level, the air becomes cooler. Okay, and the vapor holding capacity goes on becoming lesser and lesser. Now, just remember, generally humidity of the air is measured in grams per cubic meter. Okay, it is measured in grams per cubic meter. When the humidity is 0 gram per cubic meter, then the air is said to be dry. Okay, if the humidity in the air is 30 degrees at 30 degrees Celsius, temperature is 37 grams per cubic meter, then the air is said to be saturated. Okay, so understood what is dry air and what is saturated air? Okay, let's see. Nextly we are going to talk is about the absolute humidity. Now here we are going to learn about the types of humidity. That is absolute humidity. What is absolute humidity? The amount of water vapor in 1 cubic meter of air is absolute humidity of air. Okay, taking 1 cubic meter of air, whatever amount of water vapor is held by that 1 cubic meter of air, that is called as absolute humidity of air. Now if you see near the coastal areas, the absolute humidity is higher, okay, than the interior part of the place. Okay, near the coastal areas, you all must be knowing Mumbai. Okay, Mumbai is near the coastal area. So, near the coastal area, absolute humidity is higher than the interior part. Now, absolute humidity is higher in the equatorial part. Why? The temperature is high over here. Okay, and it becomes lesser and lesser as we go towards the poles. Near the equator, latitude wise if we talk, near the equator, absolute humidity is higher. While when we go towards the poles, what happens? Absolute humidity becomes lesser and lesser. The distribution of land and water on the earth and the seasons, all these things affect absolute humidity. Okay, so absolute humidity is also affected by the land, the water on the earth, the seasons that are there on the earth. Okay, all this also affects the absolute humidity. Then, what is relative humidity? Let's talk about the next type of humidity, that is relative humidity. When the amount of water vapor in the air can be expressed as percentage of the amount needed for saturation. Okay, here we are talking about is the percentage of the amount needed for saturation at the same temperature and the same volume. Okay, then only it is called as relative humidity. What is relative humidity? Amount of water vapor in the air which can be expressed as a percentage of the amount needed for saturation at the same temperature and same volume. Now, what is the formula for finding out relative humidity? As we have talked, that relative humidity is calculated in percentage. So, what is the formula for it? Relative humidity is equal to absolute humidity upon vapor holding capacity multiplied by 100. This is the formula for finding out relative humidity. Now, let's see one example. What will be the relative humidity of air whose absolute humidity is 20 gram per cubic meter and vapor holding capacity is 30 gram per cubic meter? So, let's find out. Take the formula. Relative humidity is equal to absolute humidity upon vapor holding capacity multiplied by 100. So, what is absolute humidity over here? 20. What is vapor holding capacity? 30. 20 upon 30 multiplied by 100, we get the answer as 66.666%. So, this becomes our relative humidity. Okay. Now, one more sum. If absolute humidity is 15 gram per cubic meter and vapor holding capacity is 15 gram per cubic meter, what is relative humidity of air? Now, if you see this sum properly, you will come to know that absolute humidity is also 15 and vapor holding capacity is also 15. So, according to the formula, relative humidity is equal to absolute humidity upon vapor holding capacity multiplied by 100. That is 15 upon 15 multiplied by 100, that is equal to 100%. So what is the absolute humidity? What is the relative humidity over here? It is 100%. Okay. Now, if you have understood these two sums and the relative humidity, answer one of my question. Okay. The question is, on the basis of the examples above, tell which air is saturated. Tell me which air is saturated, whether this air is saturated or this air is saturated. This air is not saturated, so we can say that this air is saturated because it is 100% over here. Okay, so we can say that this air is saturated. Now, let's have an explanation about this. As the amount of water vapor changes due to change in temperature, same way relative humidity also changes. Okay, because the amount of water vapor is changing and the temperature is same, what happens? Humidity also changes. When relative humidity is more in the morning and nights, okay, mainly if you talk about relative humidity, it is more in the morning and night. Why not in the afternoon? In the afternoon, it goes on changing according to the temperature that increases or decreases. Now, if you talk about the coastal areas, the relative humidity is more, and so the air over here is moist. Now, if you talk about the desert area, in the desert area, the relative humidity is less. Okay, till here everyone has understood? Okay. The next topic we are going to learn is about the condensation, densification and sublimation. Okay, what is condensation? When water evaporates and it cools down, that means it condenses. That is called as condensation. We have seen the water cycle, correct? The process of changing of water vapor in the air into water is called condensation or densification. The process of vapor changing to solid is called sublimation. Okay, what is sublimation? The process of vapor changing to solid is called as sublimation. When relative humidity of the air becomes 100%, vapor starts condensing. Okay, when the relative humidity becomes 100%, it starts condensing. This implies that for condensation, temperature should be low and relative humidity must be high. Now, if you know dew, frost, fog, all these are the forms of condensation at the ground level. Okay, while if you see clouds are a form of condensation at higher elevation, at a height, that means. Okay, so that's all about this lesson for today. We'll meet with the half of the lecture in the next meeting. Okay, thank you.